Hey everyone, Fatty from Pack-a-Punch Traders here. Going to make a quick trade review video lesson. I am 1 for 2 on the day today. We got HSDT early on. This was one of the gappers for my scanner that I thought had potential to run. Low float, low market cap. It does have a nasty history. I did keep that in mind, and we did have overhead resistance right around the low threes area. So I was really just looking for a quick move from open price, VWAP or claim to get back to the three-ish area, and just didn't really happen. Not enough volume going on, and just took a small loss. Was on a starter from 249 and ended up getting stopped out at 227. So that was a little annoying, but if I was just a little patient, would have recognized that it wasn't working out. Volume didn't follow through, ended up becoming some solid selling, lower high. Um, Decent shot at it, just didn't work out. So took a $66 loss, not much there. Had, what was it, 300 shares on this. Took 22 cent a share loss. Paid the price, not bad. This is what happens. I'm pretty sure I talked about it last night in a video lesson. What could happen when the open price fails? It's a good area that it could base off, and if it fails to break down, that could trigger a short squeeze. But if there's not enough buyers propping this up and shorts are still in control, that area could be a key area in the 230s here, the open price and VWAP. So they're kind of a little bit apart. So you could play either one. Um, and when it gets exhausted into these key areas with bad history and it's failing that open price, instead of squeezing higher, it gets stuffed, and you could get a decent opportunity here if you're shorting in the mid twos, 230s or so. Solid opportunity all the way down to 190s. Um, but yeah, so that was a small little loss on an open price VWAP claim. But the winner came from another similar pattern, just missed the ideal entry. So here we have TNXP. The only reason is very similar. Horrible history, bouncing nicely, except we got a super low flow, less than a million, just under 600,000 shares, and the volume is doing is absolutely insane. And the trend was still intact, so I figured we could get a good move. This is a better odds play than HSDT and a couple other plays that I was watching at. Where were we at here? My top plays. ONCT wasn't bad. We'll go over that. MULN, decent play, uh, but nothing really super exciting from the watch list except TNXP in the morning. I was a little patient with it. It was a little choppy, so I gave it some time, and I actually waited too long and didn't give myself time to alert this. I was alerting MTP, HSDT, and VTVT, all of which ended up being failures of open price plays. And the one that I don't alert is the one that I ended up taking and making money off. But I saw this one late as I didn't see it really till the market opened. It wasn't on my scanner early on. Don't know why. It should have been. But here we are, holding up, looking for the failure to really break down past the mid threes and VWAP as well, which lines up with after hours high from yesterday as well. We got that resistance up ahead in the mid fours, low fours area right here, where there's some consolidation going on, even up into the close to five. So just eyeing the mid fours to high fours to be an area to sell into, and we're trying to get it while it's down low. And I missed this quick move. That was a little annoying. We got a quick move up to the 390s, four-ish area. So that already cut some of the potential profits of this play. But what I recognize is this is a low float, holding trend. It's one of the very few, if not only, thing on my scanner that ended up holding its gains and failing to really break down. So We get this solid double bottom. We get this perk higher. I'm just looking for the failure to break down. That's all it was. And then I end up getting in a minute before it ends up taking off. It was pretty cool. 737. Where are we at? Right here on this red candle. Um, End up getting in at 398. It took off. I didn't sell right into the rip. I was actually being pretty patient with this thing considering the float. I thought if I am just maybe a little patient, this thing could just take off, go parabolic, get halted, um, and who knows, get to 5 or higher. But once we got some of this volume exhaustion, I really just, came to my senses, realized I was being greedy. Just take your quick snipes. I haven't had a good trade in a week now. So let's start the month off good and just lock in our gains. So 398 to 4.5. While I was coming back down here, I was getting out. But yeah, just looking for, like we always talk about, high volume, low float, either consolidation or somewhat of a bearish chart intraday where it could trap shorts. Here we're in this range. Shorts are definitely coming in. You got some solid selling, but there's also some solid buying coming through as well. So there's some indecision, and then the volume comes through, leading to this whole move. So even though I missed it where I wanted in the 350s, 360s, it moved pretty quick. Didn't want to chase. When it developed again, made another double bottom. Let me zoom in here again just so you can get an idea what I was seeing before it even had spiked. Um, so we're holding up, and it was doing good volume when it did offer some dips, not significant selling coming through, and it kept holding up. So I was judging this by the pullback, the way it was holding up. To me, it showed me that there was some strength as it was holding most of the gains, didn't really dip back and test these key levels again. Held most of the gains. Volume kept coming through, and there was a moment where volume really died out when it was fading here, and it double bottomed, leading showing that sellers there aren't much sellers right now in the moment. So we got an imbalance of buyers and sellers, and in a low float play doing good volume, this is how quick you could get a move from almost 20% in a matter of 10 minutes or so. Um, so yeah, that was the two plays I got. 1 for 2, can't complain. Just about $300 on the day today. So we'll be back in a bit live on tradecaster.com in 50 minutes for some live trading, see how the day ends. But right now I'm sitting on my hands. There's some good plays. ONCT, it was decent. It offered a quick move over the breakout play. This was right out of the watch list. So we got 161. I was looking for it to get to about 2. It's got some resistance right around 190 here. So it makes sense that it ends up getting stuffed right at 187. Makes complete sense. Held up nicely here for a moment. I was really considering taking this, but then I really started looking at TNXP, and that kind of just took my attention. And grateful for that. Could have got a little scratch here, but that 190s 2-ish resistance is holding very well. So with volume having a hard time consistently coming through, you have the solid push, and it was really good. I was judging it by the pullbacks. It was holding majority of the gains. Volume pretty much dies out while it's still holding up. We start making some higher lows, and we get another strong push with some strong volume behind it, and then the pullback, not as significant volume compared to the buying as when it was spiking. So I thought it had some potential to really set up for a good play and finally get to 2, maybe break higher. But volume couldn't sustain itself. Once we were getting to this breaking point, this volume, just a couple minutes of nearly 300,000 shares a minute here, it just couldn't sustain itself following through the next minute after that the way this was doing. Each minute it kept gaining. We were getting solid, consistent buying, which led to a solid move from 150 to pretty much 190. So buying is key, but I think a good lesson today is recognizing strength behind moves, and you could judge that by the pullbacks, the way it consolidates, the way it retests key levels. How is the volume behind the pullback? How aggressive is the pullback and the volume behind it? Sometimes you get an aggressive move lower, but there really isn't much volume behind it. There isn't much energy and pressure pushing it lower. So keep that in consideration. And so far, walking away green. This thing ends up topping out. Very nice. See what else it could offer. But right now, only potential play I'll leave you guys with is EFOI. Another low float, low market cap, garbage history. Just looking for the failure to break down, consolidate, hold here in the mid ones area, 130s. Around the area it consolidated in March, April. So if volume could keep coming in and the trend could keep doing what it's doing, heading higher here, this could be a solid high at daybreak over 140, 145 to squeeze up to. I'll probably take a quick snipe into the 160s, 170s if it works out. We got some resistance up here in the 175, 180s area. So keep that in mind. Um, but we'll just see how the volume and trend keep holding up. If it keeps coming in, this could be a solid play. Um, I know I'm kind of talking a lot right now, but I'll just leave you with, you know, judge plays by the pullback. You could gauge their strength for potential future moves. Um, that's all we really did today. And EFOI, we just make things simple. I was all over the place, scattered this morning, but when I simplify things, TNXP was the play. Super low float, holding trend, volume coming in, holding key levels. It's everything we always talk about. So glad I ended up taking this one. Let's see if EFOI sets up something similarly. It is doing volume, flow, checking off boxes, trend, key levels. So we'll see how this sets up for a high daybreak. We'll catch you guys later. And maybe we'll see you in chat on the live stream in 45 minutes on tradecaster.com. Have a great one, guys.